My name is Margaret Gibson, and I'm a resident of Dundalk on Robinwood Road. And that's where I was living when I belonged to the Merritt Point PTA, and when Therese Hisley sent me to a meeting that Dr. Koch was having all around the county because the people in Essex were not happy with the choice of college campus land. They wanted it in Essex proper and not far out because of roads and lack of transportation, and lots of folks could not afford another car. They liked to be somewhere where they could use a bike, walk, or they could drop off their child or whoever was going to be there. So from that meeting, I went back to our PTA and made the report, and a gentleman there stood up in the meeting and said, we can get nice land here in Dundalk for $1, which is now federal property, the Halliburton Motor Pool. So at that point, we had a little committee of that PTA, teachers and some of the people in the PTA organization, and we composed a letter which we sent to all of the PTA's fraternal organizations, anyone except political groups. And we got a small response from that. But then we started having meetings, mostly at my house in the basement. And then we wrote to some of the industries and got response from some and not others that were interested in it. The interest grew. And from that point, we thought we've got something going here. But we had a very hard time convincing the Board of Education, who at that time oversaw the colleges, or what was to be the colleges. So at that point, we decided we were just going to try and find out some way to prove that Dundalk would have use for a college, because that's what people said. We would not know what to do with it if we got it. Those very words were used. And so from that point, we made flyers, all of this at our own expense. We were not funded in any way. And then we went to the Steel Bowl game, which maybe people might remember that. And we gave the flyers out there to promote courses that we had finally suggested to them that we have from Essex at Dundalk High School. And so, of all things, when they gave us the time, it was February, and one night for registration to prove that we had interest. It was a horrible night, icy, and we thought there's going to be nobody there. 100 people arrived there to register for those courses, and that also gave us the feeling that we had a reason to keep going, and so we did. And then from that point, of course, as Lou mentioned earlier, Senator Stanton was interested, and they appointed, this wasn't Senator Stanton, this was the county council appointed a group to study. And so we thought that was to keep us quiet, which it certainly was. It took us 18 months. And we did a study, and Jim McCadden was president of that. And we were advised by Dr. Koch. And it was pretty comprehensive. Mileage, a lot of other things were in there. We sent it at our own expense again to the Board of Education, which some of them read and some of them didn't, because we asked them about it. We met with them quite a bit, too, to talk about it. Mostly it was Tom Toporovich who did the speaking when we met there. And then also I was a member of the Dundalk Community Council, representing my PTA plus the Dundalk Farms Improvement Association. And they formed an education committee, and that at that time was 45 organizations that belonged to that organization. And they all endorsed the idea and supported it. And it just seemed like from that point on, it really did take wings, so to speak. And of course, Dundalk's delegation to the state decided that that was going to be the 50th anniversary theme of the 4th of July parade, which it was, a college for Dundalk. And And then they did fund, in 1968, they passed the resolution establishing a college in Dundalk and providing funding at the state level. Well, I was on the advisory council, and for a long time we met on a regular basis. Lou was also on that council, and Dr. Ravitz and some of the other ones after him kept us up to date with what was going on in the college. And I was very happy because we had a lot of very, very good courses. But I'm not as happy right now because we have been diminished, I believe, in a